Hi, my name is Heather Feather. I am the owner of Rare Bird Medicine, and today's topic is Find Your Void. What is the void, the black hole in you that seems to disturb and bother everything you attempt to do? What is that darkened hole that just seems to suck energy from life rather than give back to cause proliferation instead of strife? I was recently connecting with somebody I dearly care for, and there was this awareness that if you had an absentee father, an alcoholic father, let's say, um, in my case, a dead father. My father was deceased when I was 17 months old. He had drowned in the Brazos River. You might have this black hole void inside of you that is trying to heal the father principle. It's wanting to better understand the father principle. And in the process of trying to heal that, one might habituate patterns of bringing in actually toxic experiences around the masculine principle. I know I've done that. Fun. I've definitely had my experience. I don't recommend it. But so there can be a quality of seeking what happens from 0 to 7 when you're developing your personality matrix. Whatever trials, tribulations, traumas, travails you face in those hours from 0 to 7 while you're becoming who you are, this becomes a pattern, and that pattern will repeat, and you will constantly seek to find resolution to any topics or issues that caused you pain, And so for me, having my father drowned in the Brazos River at 17 months old, I was definitely still in the development of my personality matrix. I would then go into my mom setting the table for 2 weeks, assuming that he would come back because his body was never found. So she just was ever hopeful that he would come back home, and he didn't. So then I went from there to a grieving mother. So what happens for me is I've gone through a lot of relationships with absentee men that are addicts, men that they're already married to alcohol or some type of drug. So how could they possibly be in union and partnership with me? Because they have a primary partner already, and that partner garners too much of their attention for us to really ever have grown into anything healthy with all these partners that had these qualities. Those that didn't have alcohol and drug addiction, they were just absentee people, emotionally void people that aren't in tune with their heart, their intelligence, their inner self. And so then I start to repeat this pattern of seeking the father, but my experience of father is not there. So I seek people and have sought people when I was dating men, because I'm pansexual, so I'm not genitalia obsessed. But when I was dating men throughout my life, I would seek men that were not present. And it's not a conscious thing. It's like, oh, I really hope that I get to walk in the park with somebody that's dead inside. It's not like this thing that you are consciously aware that you're doing. But you can see the pattern. It's like, man, why do I keep dating this type of man? I know there's, almost 8 billion people on the earth, half of them male. Seems like there would be some that are present or, seeking greater health. In that same vein, with the mother principle, in my formative years when I'm developing who I am, I had a mother that had lost the love of her life, and she had just had her third and final child. So I think that she did a beautiful job of really always being authentic and real with us, but also just not trying to hand us too much of that grief that she was processing. But no doubt, there was much sorrow, much pain. And my mom then had to get 3 jobs and had to, So in a period of extreme pain and extreme suffering, she went to work. She went to make sure she could feed those 3 mouths that are, we know Heather has been hungry her whole life. So she had a lot of food to get on the table. So the thing is that pattern actually is one that I unconsciously adopted. I've had about 50 people die that I have been very close to, parents, best friend, lovers, very close friends, coworkers. Um, so it's been around 50, maybe a little more at this point, because I just keep, you just find someone, oh, did they die? It's interesting. So, but with all that death, here's what I do. I go to work. I don't cry and gnash my teeth and wail and pound a pillow. I'm like, well, better get back to work. Maybe I should get a second job, and that's what Mom would do. She'd get a second job, maybe a third job at Christmas time, so that she had money for Christmas presents for the three of us. Because she went from being a stay-at-home mom to suddenly being in the workforce. And as we know, women don't always earn equal wages, and it's a long process to get to a place to where you're comfortable and feeding three mouths and caring for three children and being the steward of them as well as your own fourth vessel. So she worked very hard, and she worked very long hours, and she worked often. And that is when Heather has a trying. That's what I do. If I'm like emotionally upset, I want to clean my house. I want to scrub everything down. That's my void, is that I am not able to be in a healthy space around the topic of grief yet. I work, more and more every year of my life, but I'm not yet in a space where I'm in a total healthy place around the topic of grief, because I notice that pattern. I still will be like, let me just clean the house. Let me get this organized. What I'm going to do is rearrange my closet. It's like, hey, here's an idea. Why don't you curl up in a ball on the bed and cry your eyes out, And that's the healthy thing to do. My sister is a great teacher to me of that. She has, as a cancer woman, as a beautiful cancer woman, she's always done a really good job of allowing herself to grieve when it's come time to grieve. And so she adopted a different story in her experience. Like each entity gets their slice of the pie, their perception of what's happening there, their storytelling that they do around what they're experiencing out there. But that was my experience. That Mom was richly available and deeply attentive and a very generous listener when she was present with you, but that she was a very busy woman. And I'm all those things. I'm a very generous listener. I'm very deeply attentive. I'm very present with a two-legged when they're talking to me. And I'm very busy, so good luck stopping me to talk to me. I got stuff to get back to, y'all. I'm trying to get stuff done. So I just was thinking about this. I noticed an experience of a person that was just running around getting men's attention to fill that void of not having this concept of father principle, healthy father principle present. And I've seen this in a lot of different ways show up for two-leggeds. It's not just about the mother and the father principle. It's fundamentally about what is that pattern that you're running that keeps you from doing the healthy thing. In what way are you running into this black hole void where you just kind of swirl around at the event horizon and eventually get sucked into your own habituated pattern of not stepping forward into a healthier, happier place around a given topic. And, two-leggeds love to be like, well, if I didn't have such screwed up parents, it's like, you actually charted to come down. You chose those screwed up parents. You're like, ooh, they'll really help me evolve. And then you get down here and you're like, it's their fault. It's like, no, you wanted exactly that trauma so that you could hold exactly the medicine that goes along with it. You wanted to receive a certain antidote, so you chose that poison. So it's easy to put it on your parents. Oh, if they had been more like this. It's like, hey, you've been walking a life. Has it been difficult? Have you been able to be a puritanical saint? No, you haven't. Nobody gets it 100% right down here. So give your parents a break. It's not about, for me, being mad at daddy for disappearing fundamentally because we never buried a body, or mom for grieving or working instead of grieving. It's about understanding that there are patterns that all two-leggeds have dysfunction. If you're in a flesh costume, you're not done evolving. Trust, you have work to do. And in that work, the question is, what is your work? Where is it? So another example would be like, I know many people, myself included, where it's like you're very service oriented. You tend to give a lot. You want to help. You want to serve. You like to be a helper. I'm just a little helper. Well, then your cup starts to get emptied and you don't replenish because you just keep helping. And then you can start to really feel like, nobody helps me when I need help, and I'm so tired and my cup is empty. And it's like, okay, this is a story. This is a pattern you're running. So I get it. Oh, you're always the helper. You're always the one getting it done. Nobody helps you. How can anyone help you when you're so busy telling the story that nobody helps you and you keep jumping in to help them? Like, you have to be able to receive people's love. You have to be able to go, you know what? I'm going to receive you. I'm going to receive your grace. My beloved dear friend and neighbor, I have a very sexy man coming to see me tomorrow, and we don't have a lot of parking on this side of our unit. And so she volunteered just to help me to, like, hey, if you want, I have an extra parking spot, you can use it. And my brain immediately was like, no, I'm just going to go ahead and park my car in that other area over there that could be illegal, where it might get towed, because then you can have your parking spot and I don't have to lean on you. And that's great that I'm so self-reliant. And I get a lot of that from a mother that had to be very self-reliant to raise 3 kids on her own. And you know what's really nice is to receive love when someone's trying to hand it to you. You know what feels good to them is for you to have received their love. It's kind of selfish to only be the giver, because you're saying that I'm not going to allow other people to give love to me. So, like, forget your love. You just keep taking my love. It's like, it's a really aggressive act. And if you want to walk in balance, part of the shamanic path is really about walking in balance. Am I walking in the masculine and feminine principle? Am I working and playing? Am I being thinking of self and thinking of others? So it's on all these topics, kind of looking to see if you're walking in balance. And I can tell you, a major growth edge for me in my own evolution is around receiving people's graces, their gifts, their love, their desire to share with me as a giver. And so I just had this realization this morning. I was like, oh my God, this is part of my void, because somebody is literally trying to make my life easier in a time when, my OCD is at 100 because I'm about to have a real good looking person up in my house. So I'm like scrubbing the baseboards. And so I'm just rearranging every room and let's clean the fridge out, so it would support me to have ease and grace around parking. And that's a total gift. And why am I slapping grace and slapping ease and slapping comfort and slapping what works out of my hand as people try to place it in my hand? So for some of you, your void is, your black hole, your thing that just sucks from life instead of adding to the web of life, shaking it with more light and love, shaking it with more laughter. For some of you, your void is your constant story about what a giver you are. Cut it out. Be a receiver. Get in balance. That's on you. It's not superior to be a constant giver. It's actually out of balance. For some of you, you are myopically narcissistic, self-absorbed, completely selfish. You never think of others. You think the world revolves around you. And that is a black hole. I have met many narcissists, and it is an endless black hole you can pour into forever, because there's never enough attention to fill those that are walking with this void of maybe not having gotten enough attention or having gotten too much attention as a child. I'm not sure what causes that particular matrix. But what I can tell you is it's exhausting. Your attention is your most precious commodity. It is the most valuable thing you own. It is literally the thing that you are using to live the life that you're going to live. And narcissists, you can just sit and pour attention into them forever, and they'll never even know you are even in the room. Well, this has been a pleasant exchange. So that's its own void. Are you outward focused? If not, focus up, figure that out, because you're out of balance. And more and more people are becoming aware of that model and going, actually, I don't choose to have narcissists in my life. So if you want to keep getting that attention, start learning how to give it to yourself. Really, we seek that which we need to give here. If you constantly give, it's because you need to learn to give to yourself. You need to learn to receive. So today I'm just considering and offering the opportunity for us all to consider together, what is your void? Find your void. Find the black hole part of your reality that really sucks from life. It sucks from the ones you love. It sucks from everything around you, instead of giving back. How is it that you can walk in greater balance today? Go to rarebirdmedicine.com, click on the classes link. We do have a class on shamanism, as well as read the tarot coming up, and future classes towards the end of the year. You can always subscribe on YouTube to Rare Bird Medicine as well. Blessed be.